Hello, everybody. I hope you're well. I'm Craig, XJW from Australia. I live just near Perth in Western Australia. I've already made a video about my life story, but I've actually made two videos, but this is my third video. My experience of living in Canada for 2 years, and that was 2012, 2013. So I think I'll share my experiences with the witnesses over there and the behaviour. For example, I had to work with a disfellowship teenager. That was very interesting. So I'll just start off from the beginning, leaving Australia, and then where I started and where I finished. I don't think I'll make this a long video because it's only a summary to do with my experiences with the witnesses, not anything else in Canada. So first of all, I arrived in Toronto, or as Canadians call it, Toronto. Yeah. So anyway, I went to one of the congregations in the city there. I don't remember the road, but I remember they met with a Portuguese congregation. They shared the Kingdom Hall, so on one of the main streets. And it was quite a nice congregation. I had a bit of a weird experience with a young woman there, sister, but I'm not going to go into details. That was bizarre. And so they seemed nice enough. Anyway, before I left Australia, they were saying that Toronto's so safe, you won't have to worry. But there was two shootings, and at that particular time, one in the food court, and I was there the day before, and someone got killed, and then one on not far from where I was staying. So that freaked me out, and I thought, I'm out of here. But anyway, I couldn't find some work after a month, so I travelled down to Niagara Falls region, and I stayed there ended up 9 months. I found work eventually with a brother. So it's interesting because I was staying in a hostel and I went to a meeting and I met a nice couple. They actually owned 3 homes in a street. I won't mention the congregation or anything, name. I don't think it's necessary, but anyway, this couple owned 3 houses in the one street, so I rented a room out with them. That was very interesting. I was still applying for jobs, and this witness, or brother, as he called it, referred me to an elder who had a building business or renovation business, did different things, and you're all familiar with window cleaning, so he did a lot of that. Anyway, so I went and seen him. He seemed nice enough. He offered me some work. So I ended up working for 4 months with him, and during that time, I was working with some what we call worldly people or non-witnesses, and they used to mock the hell out of me and the other witnesses because of what we believed. Anyway, at the time we had this brother, which was I thought was weird because the culture in the organisation, Jehovah's Witness organisation or the Watchtower organisation, is that why would you have someone working with you that's disfellowship? So being fully indoctrinated as I was then, I'm like, well, this is weird. What is this teenager working for us? Anyway, he was a bit of a spoilt brat. He wasn't one of those that were shunned. He still lived at home, and so his parents still spoke to him. That was the condition, that he lived at home and go to the meetings and that. And anyway, a typical teenager. He got in trouble over something to do with girls, which was pretty petty, and I can understand the non-witnesses thinking it's ridiculous how other witnesses are not wanting to talk to him. I thought it was stupid. Anyway, over the period of time, we travelled up to, there was a job up north of Ontario, north of Canada, Toronto. It was called Belleville region. Belleville and Napanee. We actually stayed in Belleville and worked on a bridge in Napanee, doing a bridge for them. I helped out for 4 months. This is prior to probably doing some work in Niagara Falls as well, before we actually went up to that job. So I probably worked for the brother around 5-6 months. Anyway, we're staying in Belleville and we're sharing, and this teenager is being so nasty to me because I always thought, as they say, the scripture, when they leave Jehovah's organisations, Satan gets them, the apostates or those that just follow. I had that in my mind because I thought, why is he, even some of the non-witnesses weren't that nasty as he was. So anyway, and the weird thing was because he was staying and the boss, the elder, wasn't there, he had other crews to organise back in Niagara Falls. We were staying in this place during the week and then come and drive the 400 kilometres or whatever. Well, I don't know, that's what, in miles, 200 odd miles, I suppose they say in Canada. In Canada and US, you use miles. It would be about that in travelling distance. So we'd come back on the weekend to Niagara Falls. So it was a long journey and then head back up again on the Monday. So what happens is sharing with these guys, it wasn't easy. And as the elders back in Niagara Falls, I'm stuck with including this teenager, and he's a little bastard of this disfellowship teenager. Anyway, threw a bit of concrete, good-sized concrete in my back because they tried to boss me around, this stupid thing, that seniority, because he's been with the cup working there before me, and I don't take crap from anybody. I didn't give a damn who they were. So it wasn't easy. Imagine, coming from Australia, good money, one of the best countries in the world for paying minimum wage, to go to Canada for friggin' $12 an hour working in -30. Coming from where I'm in Western Australia, it doesn't even get that cold. We don't have snow or ice here in the West anyway. We just get rain, and we have above 20 degrees even in winter. So experiencing -30 and coldest it'd get probably a couple of nights around 0 degrees. That's it. In Canada, when it came that winter, October, November, -30 degrees, oh, my body just couldn't handle it. Anyway, you had to basically run around on the job to keep warm. So, cut the long story short, anyway, just the way things were managed, it was like a circus. I ended up staying with a local brother in Napanee at the time, English brother, and he was very nice. But the weird thing is I had to ask these, when I was going to the meetings in Belleville, because this is before I'd met this English brother in Napanee, we actually had to ask the witnesses if they don't mind giving us a ride back, because we didn't have a car, because we were getting a ride with the non-witnesses who were staying back at the house. And of course, they're not interested in going to the meetings. So we got dropped off. I had to ask a brother or sister dropping us off if it's okay if she takes a disfellowship teenager as well, and they didn't mind. Anyway, it was weird because I've never been around people disfellowship somewhere they can't talk to them, and I felt it was strange. But the whole situation there in Ontario was just like a circus. I mean, getting this bridge forum built, and in the end, the elder is just like Mickey Mouse in a lot of ways. These guys weren't experienced enough. They weren't actually tradesmen. So what happened was they didn't get the forum. The concrete actually split the forum because they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't build the forum right. So anyway, this elder ended up getting another elder that worked in carpentry and very experienced in building forums, bridge forums and different. Anyway, he successfully got it done, but the whole time between his arrogant attitude towards the non-witnesses or worldly people, as they say, was just disgusting. And I even said to him, you don't treat people like that. Just because you're more experienced, you don't need to antagonise people. And he just had such a cocky attitude. And that's one of the things that with elders, I've never wanted to be an elder. I just think, I don't want to have power over other people. Anyway, just the whole, and even that's experience the elder that was employed me, ripped me off big time. When I'd left that area and travelled to Calgary, he sent me my tax form saying that he'd paid on me more than he actually did. So I actually sent it into the tax department and said, no, he never paid me this, and showed him the correct amount with my receipts. So anyway, I left that area, after, and it was good. The witnesses in Napanee and Belvic were nice to me. I spent a lot of time with them, away from that spoilt teenager. But I felt sorry for him. They shouldn't have treated him like that in a way, and that's what sent him that way. And this is the things of this toxic organisation. So in the end, the boss started swearing, using foul language towards us in a way, trying to get the job done, because he just didn't know what he was doing, and said the job would be done in a month, and it took 4 months to do. Anyway, so I left that area, and I thought, that was one of the weirdest experiences with witnesses I've ever had. And I left on good terms with the worldly people. They liked me in the end. They used to call me Mighty Mate, because I'm from Australia. But they even used to say to me, one particular guy said, look, I looked up Charles Taz Russell. Look, he started the witnesses. And you people would let your family die over blood transfusion. Now looking back, I think they were right. Now I've done my research. But I travelled, my next stop was Calgary. I moved across to Calgary, and not too much happened there with witnesses. A lot of them were nice to me. But it was a bit weird. One of the first congregations I visited, they said, do you want a blood card? If you need, and I thought, whatever. Okay. So anyway, in Calgary, I noticed too, there's some XJWs on YouTube have got a video. They went to the congregation, if you're aware, where the Assembly Hall meets, one of the congregations there, and they were nice. But it's a bit weird when I first went, the elder goes, they didn't want to take me seriously till my report came. And I said, well, what's the problem? And he said, what are you getting upset for? And I said, well, no, I'm not. And he said, it sounds like it. We don't know you from Adam. You could be, and I thought, well, you don't treat people like that. That's just stupid. Just because you might have bad experiences of other people travelling through. So that was very interesting, the whole experience in Canada with witnesses and the behaviour. And even one brother I'd stayed with back in Ontario had been disfellowshipped twice, and he didn't realise how serious it was. So he basically sounded to me like they had to go through hardship or be disfellowshipped to appreciate what they called the truth or doing the right thing, which is, I didn't agree with that. And now, as I'm back in Australia now, so there's not too much more to say about what happened in Canada, because I had more good experiences with, except for one brother I met was having problems with his wife, and he told me in a small town, Canmore, in Calgary, Alberta, about how a brother successfully in Toronto sued the Watchtower for disfellowshipping him. See, so they can be successful, and all these lawsuits around the world now against Watchtower. It's proven that, and they're just wasting funds. They're just stupid, absolute stupidity of what they're doing, wasting donations of rank and file's funds. It's just ridiculous. And there's so many videos I've seen now, and I'll just end that in my experience in Canada and just come back to talking about when I returned to Australia. Now, which I actually started fading last year, which I mentioned in my first video, which goes for 57 minutes. And our last meeting I attended was in September last year. and that was not actually the way they looked at me, like, where have you been? And the welder comes up to me, where have you been hiding, Craig? And I thought, well, no. But then again, he could just use it as a harmless joke, so I didn't take it as offence. But just, I actually attended the convention one day last year, and I only went for half an hour, because the way they looked at me, elders from my congregation, when I walked in, I hadn't been for 3-4 months to a meeting. So I just had to get out of there. I didn't even stay and listen to any of the program. I just went back home. And so I'm going to end this video soon, but I'm just going to encourage anybody around the world that's actually leaving, or anybody in Australia or Western Australia where I live, if you need help or any advice or resources how to leave. I faded myself. I've got my email in the link in my, I think in my first video or second video, but I'll put it on the link to my email address on this video as well. Is if you have doubts, don't listen to anything that Watchtower portrays how apostates are crazy, mentally diseased, because they're not. Knowing the facts is freedom. Research is the greatest thing you can do, because no organisation should have so much control. Jesus never had control over his people like that. It's just manipulation, and they twist to their own benefit. As you know, and you've done my research, the Watchtower organisation is just a publishing company that wants to use people to build up their real estate empire. And they'll use fear tactics and whatever to get to that extent. And anybody that is thinking of leaving, there's plenty of videos, not just mine, but there's lots on YouTube, ones that are particularly very good with exposing the doctrine, John Sheeter's channel by Lloyd Evans. And you've stopped the shunning. She's good at helping people that are leaving, how to the actual toxic mannerisms that the Watchtower culture actually is saturated with. So it makes people look uncomfortable and that they have to do more and more for what? Because I can tell you now, a lot of people here and around the world in this organisation have different mental issues, and a therapist or a doctor can help them, not just reading the Bible or doing more preaching. From experience, that doesn't help. When I've been depressed, that doesn't help. And that's why now I've been seeing the last 2 months a psychologist, and that's really helping me and getting out. It's not easy. I haven't made any new friends outside of the organisation, but my family hasn't shunned me. So I think it's wise to do your research. If you want to fade and you're too young, like teenagers, just go along with it. You don't have to do too much, and when you're the right age, get out. I left home at 18. So if you can, I'm 37 now, and I know it's not easy, because I know before I became a JW, started studying at 16 with the witnesses, I wanted to be married by 25, have a few kids in the house, and unfortunately, thankfully I'm out still single. I'm 37, so I'd like to meet some nice new people, make some friends, and eventually find a nice partner. So I think you need to do things that you enjoy, just take your time. Once you get out, it'll be very stressful for even now. It is for me, but take your time and do your research and just pursue some hobbies you enjoy to take you. And some more advice, try not to watch too much XJW videos, because it can be overwhelming after some. You need to focus your mind on other things you enjoy, just a bit at a time. Okay, I'll leave it here now. I think I'll finish up. Thanks anybody for watching. Please subscribe if you find my video interesting, and if you're willing to contact me, I'm happy to talk to you. So I'll provide the link below. Wherever you are in the world, have a good day. It's Monday evening here in Australia, so you're probably still working, you Americans and Canadians and other Northern Hemisphere people. Well, I'm going to go to bed soon. Okay, good night from Australia, the land of the kangaroos.